Και είναι από πάνω και βλέπουμε αυτόν.
Λέω μήπως εδώ δεν έχεις gutter, μήπως στην ένα, επειδή είναι και νυχτερινό, έτσι, δεν έχεις gutter. Μήπως κάνεις γραμμές, γιατί, για να πάει αυτό... Όπου είναι δηλαδή λέει ένα σκοτεινάκι και λέω γιατί, ώστε εδώ να ανάψει τη λάμπα του αυτός. Θέλεις wa και μετά box ή box και μετά wa? Box και μετά wa. The quest for the foundations of mathematics is a quintessentially modern tale, a Sisyphean tale, each one of its heroes a modern Prometheus.
When Apóstolos and I had our first lunch, we saw that this was a great story to tell. We were both very interested in the very curious fact that the majority of the protagonists of this great intellectual adventure ended up insane.
The whole adventure of Logicomix started as I was reading a book by the great Italian mathematician Giancarlo Rota. It contains an amazing sentence. It cannot be a complete coincidence that several outstanding logicians of the 20th century found shelter in asylums: Cantor, Zermelo, Gödel, Peano, and Post. And others too, not mentioned by Rota, like Frege, who ended his life a racist lunatic, and Bertrand Russell, who certainly had flirted with insanity during their lives. And Ludwig Wittgenstein, who plays a marginal role in the quest for the foundations of mathematics from the mathematical side, but a very crucial one from the philosophical. And some would not consider him a model of sanity. Certainly Bertrand Russell, his mentor, didn't.
There are many great things about Logicomix. The first is that it gets to the heart of aspects of mathematics that make mathematics unique, and aspects that are themselves almost internally paradoxical, internally inconsistent one with another.
I loved mathematics, but Annie, not at all.
Il est vrai que ce n'était pas mon domaine préféré. I do not like the mathematics.
One day Apóstolos called us, and it was a very funny coincidence, because we were looking for something to do in comics, and he had an idea for a comic book. So we met immediately.
Logicomix has 3 stories, which, like Russian dolls, are one inside the other. In the first one, some friends in present-day Athens get together to try and tell and at the same time understand the second story. The friends are Apóstolos, myself, Christos, Alekos, Annie, and also Anne. A book including a story on its own making could be easily called self-referential. What's self-reference? It's simply referring to yourself, like the ancient Athenian Evulidis saying, "My fellow citizens, I'm now lying to you." And you see what the problem is. If he is lying when he's saying this, he's telling the truth. But if he's telling the truth, he's lying. They are crazy, these logicians.
We started to develop material. We had this retreat, non-stop discussions for days and days and days.
In this stage, we talked a lot about the subjects that would come up in the book, so we tried to arrange our material thematically. And on this little board here, we have the various themes, like madness or Cantor's madness, either more generic or more specific, which come together in the various strands of the plot. But we didn't yet have a plot. We were just playing structurally with the ideas and giving them form, actually the form of a 3-act structure. There are 8 different stages through which an idea develops to become a comic book. And these proceed 1 page at a time. These are script, what we call patatology to give the script flesh and blood, the roughs, the final lettering, drawing or penciling as it's called, perhaps the most basic stage in the creation of the images for a comic book, shadows to give our image some extra depth. This is a very crucial page, by the way, where Bertrand Russell first meets Euclid and geometry and discovers in them a safe haven. He turns to logic for security, as it were, from all the vicissitudes of a very unstable and very dangerous world. After the shadows, the drawing is inked and becomes much more precise. And last but not least, there's the coloring.
Πώς το κάνουν οι κερατάδες, που σου φαίνεται τελείως άχρηστη όταν είσαι σκητσογράφος, που θέλουν να δουν πώς γίνεται το σκίτσο. Και εμένα μου φαίνεται το ίδιο περίεργο το πώς γίνεται το γράψιμο. Μου φαίνεται τελείως κουφό.
The stage of the script is where you actually move from something general, a story that can be recounted in prose form like a tale or a novel, to something that's written specifically to become a comic book.
Όπως κάθεται και στο προηγούμενο, είσαι εσύ από πάνω, είμαι εγώ ο Χρήστος και το ρίχνω έτσι λίγο. Εδώ έχει γυρίσει προς εμένα.
In Logicomix, we use what's known as a full script, a technique of putting in words as much as you can concerning what's going to happen on the page. Both Alekos and I have some background in the cinema, so that language comes quite naturally to us. In our script, you see a lot of mentions of camera position, description of shots like medium shot, medium long shot, close-up.
Και πάμε κοντινό, έχει πλησιάσει αυτή, okay. Γιατί την φάνηκε και αρχίζει να μιλάει και αυτή πλησιάζει πιο κοντινό, έτσι, πιο κοντινό είναι αυτή εδώ. Και λέει, the man has surpassed himself in eccentricity.
The act of writing seems to me very, very similar to the act of constructing a proof. The fact that so many things, so many loose ends must magically in the end stick together makes the two activities very parallel, very similar.
Ενώ είναι έτσι εδώ έχεις κεφάλι, θέλει πακ γραμμές. Δηλαδή αν φας προφίλ, να έχει αντίδραση και λέει Professor Russell.
Bertrand Russell soon became our tale's hero and also its narrator. He was one of the quest's greatest stars, its most eloquent protagonist. Bertrand Russell is a quintessentially modern person, an atheist yearning for the absolute, a cynic masquerading as an idealist. Or was it the other way around?